Have you ever wondered how it might feel to fly underwater? Well, now it is possible. Today we're gonna talk about cudajet and maybe much more. All right, Mark, are you ready to take your first flight?
Hell yeah, man. Man, I've always wanted to fly, man. Who doesn't have that fucking dream to fly? You're just like, ooh, ooh.
Man.
And who else hasn't done it? And you're in the pool or in the sea, you're swimming and you're pretending like you're flying, like you're swimming like a dolphin. Man, I'm telling you.
I mean,
Cool.
in general, these
All right, bro.
dreams,
Show us what you
are
got, man.
in general.
What is this?
Like, man, I mean, I think I'd probably dream this like once or twice per month, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I just like do swim motion in my dreams, which is like kind of weird, but all right, Mark, I'm gonna present you now a water jetpack. Okay, get ready for this bad boy. I'm gonna share my
water
screen.
jetpack, not even something that they had in James Bond. They hold on to something and then you pull to.
No,
but it's a jetpack.
Backpack. It's a backpack, and then afterwards, you tell me how much you think this bad boy costs. All right, bad boy on, and then you can just fly with. Well, literally just.
But you can't fly out of the water. It's just in the water.
No. It's just in the water. It's just transporting you in
How
the water.
How fast does it go?
That's a good question, but it looks very, very fast. But Mark, guess how much this bad boy costs?
8K.
Guess again. It's more. It's up.
More or less.
Up. It's higher. It's more.
Oh, 20K. And this shit is super premium.
Bro, it's 27,357.95. Bro, almost 27K euros. So what's that? 30K dollars? Freaking insane. Like, think about it. Like, you're buying a car, like a mid-class car, 2 years of warranty. That's good. But man, so these are also, this is what I want to talk about in general, who this is for, right? Because also when you look on the website, it's like they make it very, very smart just by associating with, for example, super yachts. If you look at it, they're just like ultimate yacht toy, you know?
Oh, for those, it's super cheap. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Super yacht. They're like, you know what? We're gonna buy 8 of them.
Yeah. I mean, like 240K. What's for them? But also that's because I was like thinking maybe these are just toys for super rich, but at the same time, I'm sure they will also have something to lease. And then you have in these super touristic places, you can just rent them out, like make this experience like $150, something like this. And people do it, you know, you can get it like an hour or 2 hours on Airbnb experience. Because that's something I was like, it is super cool. It's super expensive, but it's like renting a car, right? Renting a car, you can rent a car that costs 30K and it just costs you, I don't know, 100, 200 a day. And there you can charge that probably per hour. So I was like, man, that could be a super cool business for super touristic places. But what?
I think that's super interesting. I mean, think about it this way. And also, like, you would only need, like, if it's say $150 an hour, so you would need just 200 hours to get the money back. Yeah. It's not that bad. Because also, you think about it, you don't need insurance for that. Ours is maintenance, insurance, and all that stuff. Most of the, maintenance. I know how that works with that, but I'm guessing if something breaks, it's not that much of a big deal. You can still swim. So, and also, there's no oxygen in it, so that means not that it needs to be maintained or constantly need to refill it. It's just recharging. It's battery, right? It's a battery. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a battery.
Electric.
At the same time, you can't have long hair. If you have long hair, bro, that motherfucker, the turbine will just pull your hair out.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah, it says in the safety instruction, don't use with long hair. This is not for long hair. Or make sure your hair is like tucked away, because that shit will, because it's a super strong turbine, it will just pull out all your hair.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. I'm sure that will happen somehow.
But
like, even if you have mid-size hair, if you do like your neck one time like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you get a free haircut, so that's not a bad thing in that point of view.
How'd you find this? This is super cool.
I got it. I found it on Instagram. I don't even know. Cudajet. I don't know. I wonder whether they raised money. Do you think they raised money? Cudajet. Crunch base. Let's see. The thing is, like,
I don't
I
know.
saw
I
that
think this
on
is one
our
of the things
TikTok farm. I was like, oh,
super
that's
niche.
interesting. Let's see. Cuda. Let's see. Cuda recent activities. I'm sure this is a different company that I'm looking right now. Because if I look at Cuda right now,
I mean, that looks sick. Then you can zoom with the dolphins. I'm not sure if this is actually real, this one with the dolphins, or this is just.
yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's just crazy to see what's out there, and it's like super luxury market. And I'm assuming this costs probably just a few K to produce, because I don't think that's like so complicated to build. And then, bro, but this is also one of the things you can just do a rental business out from. Make
No,
good money with
but I
it.
think I'm just thinking of just the applications of it are super super cool. Like what people can use, like divers. I think the military will probably get a few. That's, I mean,
Yeah, but they need
amazing.
it
Just put them
silent.
in.
They don't look silent, bro. I don't think they are super
I
silent.
don't think they
I
need to be
saw
sad necessarily. It's an elect. I mean, it's underwater.
yeah. I mean,
Propels you to somewhere.
I saw the propulsion when it's like out of the water into the water, bro. That gives like a freaking huge water, like just like exhaust when it's like half over the top of the water on the surface. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Because
So
it's
wait,
so strong.
did they raise money or no?
No, I didn't find it. I'm sure they did, but I couldn't find cudajet and Crunchbase.
Oh man, I think it's super interesting. I think that's gonna be something that first the super rich, and then eventually it will trickle down to like these kind of rental places.
Yeah, that's the thing with rental places. Yes, it might look like it's expensive, but I'm sure they will offer renting. Like you can rent this out for, I don't know, let's say 400, 500, or $1,000 a month, like to the rental places, or lease it over 3 or 4 years, and then you can still like rent it out for so maybe still make money. I think that's what's gonna happen. All right, Mark. What do you have? What do you have a topic? Do you have anything to talk about? Because I think like that's what's like super interesting. I just want to talk about because in the end might not be related with AI, but man, this looks so fucking cool. And I was like, I want to try this. Just seeing somebody just flying through the water like this makes me excited to do it myself.
All right, I got something. It's a blast from the past. Not necessarily a business. It's something that we used to spend a lot of time on, and I want to talk about World of Warcraft. Specifically,
Oh,
I just watched a video of the head designer, or he's actually, I think the CEO. Well, he's in charge of World of Warcraft, anyways, right now.
yeah.
He was giving a talk 3 or 4 days ago, and he was talking about the issues or the experiences he had over the last 20 years, because World of Warcraft has been out since 2006, I think, or something
Oh,
like
it's
that, or
crazy.
2004. Anyways, so over the last 20 years, how has changed World of Warcraft, and how the impact of community feedback has impacted the development of the classes, as well as balancing, etc. And one of
Yeah.
the key takeaways was that even though, well, let's go first to the issues. Look, World of Warcraft is a massive multiplayer online play game. It's one of the biggest games, or was one of the biggest games in the world in terms of, man, they have subscribers. So the business model has never changed. Just you subscribe, monthly fee, and you can participate. You can play.
Well,
There's also,
guess the money that they made in 2023.
well, they have
No,
more than
2024. 2024. Just the revenue.
a billion probably, just because they have now microtransactions, and one of the in-app, like one of the horses or something, that people bought like so many amounts of it since they introduced in-app purchases. And
So let's start 2019, 300 million, 2020, 400, 2022, 792 million. And I think in 2023, it's close to all 635
yeah,
million. Bro.
it's insane. So it's a very, very popular game. And one of the things he was saying is
That is crazy.
that it's really, really hard to balance games, right? And also that the game is evolving, because he's like, look, over the years, people have always complained that we have maybe strayed away from what was initially thought about World of Warcraft, what was our vision. But then over time, he realized it wasn't that they strayed away from the vision, but it was rather that the gameplay, the people, the gamers changed itself. So they actually noticed that when they re-released in 2018, or sorry, 2020 or 2018, the World of Warcraft Classic again. People could now play the classic game, And they didn't play it like they used to play. No, they played it completely different. And so there came new problems. The people back in the day, for example, they wouldn't spend a lot of gold to switch to talent trees. Cost 50 gold, which back in the day in Classic was a lot of gold. So they would rather have one spec that was medium in PvE and medium in PvP. But now this is not enough anymore. People are more perfectionists. So they are rather farm, and this takes a long time, get the goal to have a perfectly skilled on PvP and PvE.
Yeah.
And the same is with balancing in PvP, for example, or in PvE. People always come like, oh no, this one is overpowered. Let's say the Retribution Paladin, he one shot at me, whatever. It takes usually like 4 or 5 days till someone finds a combo to win against that, and that etc. Going on and on. Same with the damage in PvE raids. So they then said, like, look, okay, we can rebalance this. They rebalance, but with the rebalance now, everyone else, the data shifted again. So he was showing, for example, a PvE damage of a Death Knight. Death Knight Frost skilled versus Unholy. So it was showing that the Unholy did a lot more damage than the Frost, because this is all the data points that they get on all the raids. PvE, and then the Frost, they said like, look, please buff us, buff us, buff us, buff us. The community said that they did. They buffed Frost, and all of a sudden, the Unholy, the damage per second, or like all the damage done, went drastically down. Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it has something to do with the talents. I have no idea.
So
Tell me.
they didn't even touch the Unholy thing. So in itself, the damage that the actual Unholy skill, Unholy Death Knight
From the
did,
buffs from the other people.
no, it has nothing to do with that. The actually true impact there was only that the highly skilled people switch from Unholy to
Nice.
Frost, and thereby the average damage dealt goes down because now the shit players are only playing it. So, and that's why you cannot nerf or adjust it, because you attract other players.
But
And this is one of the things. Go ahead.
No, this reminds me just in general, World of Warcraft, yes, has a lot of characters, well, at least skills, but then think about League of Legends. Like they're balancing their completely different. This is so crazy. How many characters are in League of Legends, right?
Yeah. So look, but I want to finish up the point. Yeah. So end of the day, the conclusion was that it's really hard to balance really, really complex games because there's different mechanics, etc. And you can never make it okay or great for everyone. Because if you say you have a patch that fixes the for 60% of the people, amazing. But there's always 40% of people that are gonna complain the shit out of you. As well as you cannot always listen to the loud minority, because it's a loud minority by definition. So one of these things that was super, super interesting, I was like, wow, this has such business implications as well. If you have customers, you cannot always listen to the loud minority or in politics, etc. Because at the end of the day is, what is the majority doing? And what is the true reason for it? Was the Frost Death Knight so much worse or in the holy than the unholy? No, it just attracted the wrong the wrong crowd. It wasn't the power users or the best players that were using it. It was just a lot of shit players or people that are like, they didn't care about the most damage. They just like to play this one. So you cannot just, by assuming the outcome, you cannot know necessarily what is the cause for it, which is fucking fascinating. Think about it for, let's say, our apps, like let's say AI coach or AI mental health be incredible, or let's say Papacito Mamacito, where we had an AI girlfriend website. At the end of the day, you don't know necessarily, or with ads, if you're attracting the right people with this ad, and that's why the conversion is good or not, right? It's like one of these things. The impact is not necessarily the output. You know what I mean?
Yes and no. You lost me a little bit when you were talking about ads, etc. Because I mean, I get the point when you say, okay, you're averaging out, but then you see you have the very high skilled people that you lose them. So that's a good point of view.
Okay,
So
with
like
ads.
average.
Okay, let's cut out the ad stuff. All right, but the thing is about the other stuff is just like, look, you have a majority of people that using it in a different way, and there's the edge cases on the top end and a low end that impact, and they complain regardless.
I mean,
right?
think about League of Legends. The similar thing, right? You have certain, for example, Berserk. What is it called? The one whose ultis when he's rushing. See Sion, right? Berserk Sion, just like pushing, right? So you can revive. It wasn't meant for this with the ulti, or that he get revived with as his passive, and then he can kill people. Or like you can try to take somebody with you.
I have a great example. Another thing is you can never make it right for everyone, right? This is the key learning here. Also, if you constantly nerf and all that stuff, it's all about perception. Does it actually give the customer like you're listening to them, and do they feel okay with it? Because they were showing that, for example, in 2008 and Cataclysm, or sorry, 12, whatever it was, 14, when people were playing, the balance between the top, let's say top class and the bottom class was like 15, 20%. And now it's only 5%, but the people are still the same amount of complaints. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about perception. And the next thing is just like, how does the meta actually change? The game didn't change, for example, he said in StarCraft. So the StarCraft, I don't know, whatever it's called, still a very, very popular game in real-time strategy games. But when do you think was the last adjustment of the, like, let's say, skill cap? Not skill cap, but nerfs and buffs.
5 years ago? 10?
The last one was in 1999. Yet somehow still the meta has changed multiple times and is constantly evolving because people are trying different methods and trying to wait, oh no, this is not the meta. This is how I can beat this. And they're figuring it out because people are evolving. The gamers are evolving. So the tool in itself and the game hasn't changed. It's just the people, how it is played is changing. Same with tennis, right? Or basketball. It's just played differently.
Also, you have more variables like fitness, etc. But coming back, Mike, I just want to talk about now League of Legends. Guess how many characters or like champions came out when the game launched in 2009?
48.
20.
Oh.
Guess how many there are now?
200.
150. Well, damn. This is wild. I think it's 150.
Well, think about it also. And then there's also items, right?
170, sorry, 170.
You nerf or buff classes directly as well.
Exactly. So it's like 170 champions. Think about all the data that they need to consider to keep this balance. So that's why there might be more and more like broken champions. That's why also it's been over 133 days since the last new champion was released. Like normally they're like launched 10 champions, 5 per year, but now it's because like it's so hard to balance. Think about how many you need to unlock. Like when we started with League of Legends, when it came out, literally you're just like, all right, got a couple of champions, unlock them, good to go. But now 170 champions, holy shit.
But also the mechanics of them, how the champions works, right? They re-release champs because they feel clumsy, the game, like the champs in itself. So
yeah, the mechanics are outdated. And then you need to balance it with each patch. Just think about how much data is run through. This is like, bro, I'm sure they have something like with AI or in general machine learning that just to simulate that.
For sure. So anyways, so that was my point. Is like I find it fascinating and just like the insights of this, how you can apply this to your real, like your application, your business, whatever you're doing, or your life in general, right? You can't make it right for everyone. Choose your target audience, get their feedback, and just make it, even if you can't make it right for everyone, make them feel good about themselves, right?
Also,
that's the end of the day what it is. It's very subjective.
Also, don't look on the average, right? Think about how the scale looks like. Just don't go for the normal distribution. Like, okay, this is what the average is, but see, like, okay, we have outliers on the top and the bottom, and what are the top users using? For example, how much time are they spending? Why are they spending it? And not what the average person looks like, right? Because you want to look at the right niche and then focus on that one if they are the ones who bring the most value or use the product the longest.
Well, exactly. It ends to the because of power. Exactly, because power user necessarily is not the one that gives you the most money, right? Depends on your focus again. But anyways, so I like this. I think that was super cool. Listen to it for an hour today, and yeah, wanted to share that with everyone.
All right, everybody. Catch you next one. Peace. We're out.